I'm going to go over the steps to get you started in the full bleed project. In this video, I will not be going over the project handout or the grading rubric or anything too technical. I think for the first week of class, you have had enough technical stuff, so let's just make something fun for now. If you have any difficulties getting this part of the project completed by next class, don't worry about it. You have time to ask questions in next week's meeting. The overall project is not due until the following week. See Canvas announcement for more specifics. So we're going to make this project in Illustrator. If you have the icon for Illustrator already on your computer down here, click on it. If not, go up to the magnifying glass and type it in. This, of course, is assuming you've already installed the program. You might come to a menu like this where you can just click on Create New, but you can always go to File and New. And let's change this so that it says inches over here. A lot of times the program defaults in points, so we'll change this to inches. In this particular project, we want a width of 7 inches, a height of 9 inches, and we do need a bleed on the project. If you don't see this option for bleed here, just look for some kind of expansion button. And then make sure that this chain is linked. It should be by default. That's what you do not want, is a broken chain. You want the chain linked. And then we're just going to, should be that you just click this up one click and it defaults to 0.125. If for whatever reason that didn't work for you, then all you have to do is swipe your cursor across here and put in 0.125. And assuming that you set it up to inches, like I told you just a second ago, you should be fine. Assuming that you have the chain linked, it should update automatically in all of these boxes. So that's really the only 3 things that you need to have done. Set to inches, the width and height set to 7 by 9, and a bleed set to 0.125 inches, which is 1/8 of an inch. Click Create, and here is your document. This right here is 7 inches from here to here and 9 inches from top to bottom. This red line marks what is known as the bleed, and that will be explained in future documents. But all you need to know for now is that every side, meaning this left side, the right side, the top, the bottom, must have artwork. Not all of it. Let's say you just made a square in here. That would be fine, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But there needs to be something on this left side, like that square, that goes out past the edge or right to the edge of the paper. And when you do that, as I'll explain later, you do not just go right to the edge. You have to go beyond the edge and at least to the bleed. Okay, so if you know Illustrator already, you may do any technique that you know in here. Basically, here's everything that I just said in writing, and we're right to this point where I'm going to keep it super simple for those of you who have never used Illustrator before, and all I'm going to show you how to do is make things with the rectangle tool. But like I said, if you already know Illustrator and you want to do some crazy stuff in here, including placing images inside of this Illustrator document, have a ball. The only thing that you must accomplish by the time the project is due is that your overall design must have elements in it that touch all 4 sides. I'm going to get rid of what I already put in here just by taking this very top tool called the selection tool, clicking, dragging out a marquee, and then hitting the delete key. So all I really want you to know how to do in this program for right now is just use this rectangle tool. Couple notes just in case you're having any difficulties in the program. I always suggest that you go to Essentials let me just make a mess of the program first so you'll see why you might want to do this. Let's say there's stuff all over the place. Some of your stuff is missing. If you go up to Essentials and you click on Essentials and then you go one step further, go back in there and go Reset Essentials, you should now be looking at a nice clean workspace. And then go over to your rectangle tool and click on it. Now whatever colors are set up in here is what you're going to get when you make a rectangle. So if I were to draw a rectangle right now with that tool, it'll have a white fill and a black stroke on it. Now I'm going to change the color so that that's even more obvious. And I'm going to suggest that if you're new to this program, you click on stroke, bring it forward. So that means that's the tool that you're about to change. And either down here or over here, if colors popped open, but either way, you select this none option, the white with the bar going through it. Now that way you don't even have to think about the stroke, you're just making all of your rectangles with solid fills. Now click on the fill color to bring it forward, and you can either pick colors using this method, or you can now double click on the fill color and pick colors from what's known as the color picker. And to do that, you slide here to give you the overall color, and then you can go inside of here depending on where you click, and notice this is your preview of the color. If you click over to the left, you get a very desaturated color. Think, close to black and white kind of scale. If you click over here, you get a saturated color. Up higher, the lighter the color. Down lower, the darker the color. So let's just say we want an orange-ish color. We slide down to here, and I'll make it kind of a darkish orange. Click there. That's the color I'm going to get. Click OK, and you can see that that color has now transferred over to here. Now, it looks like my rectangle tool is no longer active, so I'm just going to come over here, click on it one more time, and just in case you're not seeing the rectangle tool as the first option, notice that this actually houses more than one tool. So if I click and hold this down, you can see that there's actually ellipse tools, polygon, stars, and so on. So let's say you're searching for that rectangle tool one day and you can't find it. Well, it's still, you just kind of have to remember about where it is and know that it's housed in the same area with these other tools. So I'll click, hold it down, select rectangle tool. Now I'm free to draw rectangle tools, and they will come out with this color. So now I just want to start a design. I'll click and drag, and I'll show you how to change colors after you've already made objects. So let's say that you said, okay, I kind of like this design, I think I'm done. Well, you wouldn't be, because remember, the rule is some part of your design must go all the way to the edge on all four sides. So let's have a little bit of fun with that. Let's go like this, and now that works, right? This object, then in the final product, the paper is only this big, so it's only going to go right to the edge, but you have to go beyond, at least to the bleed mark. So here I went right exactly to the bleed mark. This side I went a little bit past. Now we've got 2 of the 4 edges taken care of, and to take care of the other ones, I will draw one more item. Now you could be finished with your design. Now first I'll show you how to save this, and then I'll show you a couple other things you might want to give a try. Okay, so you go up to File, you go to Save, and then you navigate to wherever you want to save. Usually inside of Documents. Start by making a new folder. Call that the name of the class that maybe you're taking with me. And click Create. Give this thing a name that makes sense. May as well call it Full Bleed. And then you click Save. And that's it. And then when you need that file, it is going to be there. And if you want to make a couple different versions, like you say, I'm just going to save this, but I'm going to have some more fun with this, then do a file save as. Give this thing another name, like 02. Save. Okay, so let me show you a few other tricks here. If you want to move stuff, you just simply click on it with this very top tool called the selection tool. Click, drag, the item moves. If you don't like what you just did, Command Z on a Mac, and you'll have to look up the equivalent. It's probably Control Z on a PC. You can also use this tool if you can draw a marquee around objects and select more than one object at a time, and then move all of those at the same time. You can select one or more objects and change the color of it, either using this color thing here or by double clicking like I showed you earlier. So if you want to make that a very different color, click OK. You can select items that aren't attached to each other by clicking on one with this selection tool, holding down the Shift key, clicking on another, and then making a change to that item. And then if you meant for this item, it's easier to show you with this one, you meant for this item to be on top, you can just simply right click or control click and go to Arrange, and from here you'll see an item that says Bring to Front. So if I select that, that one comes to the front. So have some fun with the rectangle tool. Oh, one more thing. If you want to rotate something, you can click on it and put the cursor. Again, we're still just using this basic selection tool. Click on the item, put the cursor over a corner, and the cursor will change like that. And now you can turn it like that. And now the only problem, hopefully you see it, is now you would have to change your design because nothing touches the top or the bottom. We can resize this by putting the cursor here and just simply dragging. And then we just need to make sure that something touches the bottom. So I'll click on this little guy here and oops, I accidentally turned it. It's harder when you got a small object, and so the other thing you may want to be familiar with is Command plus and minus to bring you in and out. And you can also accomplish that with the magnifying glass here. Plus to bring you in, you can drag down to bring you out. And then if you need to move around in the document, housed inside of here is the hand tool. Switch over to that. You can click and drag. So I'm going to want to zoom in a little bit more here. Hold that down, pick the zoom tool. And then when I do, I'm a lot closer to this, and now I can actually grab what I wanted to grab here in the first place. Keep going till I come all the way off the artwork. Sometimes the program doesn't render itself very well when it's trying to resize, so sometimes you have to let it go. Scroll down a little bit with the hand tool and get to the bottom of that. And let's do a Command minus, see where we're at right now. So it looks like we're good because something is touching all the way to the left, to the right, at the top, and at the bottom. So you could be done there if you were satisfied with that. And that's it. Just keep experimenting until you get something that you'll be proud of for the following week, and we'll go from there.